Welcome to the Transition Planning Management System, or TPM. This was developed to support you as educators in producing the best possible transition plans for your students. Our system consists of three parts: our transition readiness score, our transition plan creator, and the transition plan reviewer. We have developed our system to assess our students' transition readiness, guide our students through goal setting and creating personalized transition plans, and then the review of our completed transition plans to ensure that they meet compliance requirements and best practice standards. This system will be accessible in our Canvas Learning Management System. The first component of our Transition Planning Management System is our Transition Readiness Score. If you have already begun using our curriculum, your students will have completed the Transition Readiness Score as part of the course introduction module. This assessment tool establishes a baseline understanding of each student's strengths, needs, and areas for growth. If you have not yet started the curriculum, please make sure that when you get access to our TPM system in the Canvas interface, that your students complete the Transition Readiness Score as soon as possible. This step is essential because it provides the baseline data that will drive their goal setting, inform their personalized transition plans, and allow the system to generate accurate recommendations. As you can see, once they have completed our assessment feature, they will receive a score as well as areas to improve. This will help you have a clear and concise plan for how to move forward with supporting your students in transition readiness. Then we have our student-centered plan creator, also known as Trinity, our transition plan creator. This is an AI-powered plan creator that puts students' voice at the center of the transition planning process. Students will complete a short interactive conversation, usually in under 10 to 12 minutes, where they answer questions about their strengths, interests, preferences, and needs. The conversational style helps our students think more deeply about their future, and ultimately the system will use the students' responses to personalize post-secondary goals, recommend annual goals, and suggest supports. When the students complete the chat with Trinity, a final plan will be generated, and you will need to ensure that they save this document. They can title it Transition Plan to keep track of it. If possible, I would encourage you to require them to email it to you or share it in some capacity once they have completed it. The PDF that the students will receive after completing our Transition Plan Creator will be titled the Student Transition Plan. The first page will include the student information, and then as we scroll, it will provide our teachers and our students with recommended goals in the areas of education and training, employment, independent living skills, and community participation. We understand that our students may only focus on one or two of these areas, but wanted to provide our educators with a baseline to begin with any area of the transition plan. The nice thing about this resource is that it can serve as a baseline assessment for the transition planning process, but also can serve as a resource to reference during the interview process of our transition planning, as this can really highlight what our students could potentially be working towards and can be a resource our students are asked about. What do you like about these goals? What do you feel is achievable? Ultimately, providing our teachers with better anecdotal data and baseline data for what our students really want for their futures. The last resource of our transition planning management system is the Transition Plan Reviewer. The reviewer is built to support our teachers in reviewing their transition plans for complete compliance. The reviewer will read the transition plan from top to bottom after it is uploaded from your IEP system, and in just 2 minutes, it will flag any non-compliant or incomplete areas. Things like missing components, unclear goals, or requirements that are not aligned with standards. It will then provide clear and actionable recommendations for improvement. What makes the reviewer so effective is that it is trained in all state and federal transition planning standards, allowing it to identify issues with exceptional accuracy. This ensures that the plans meet 100% compliance. Most importantly, we have created the system to allow for all of the recommendations and specifications to be edited. Administrators will have a dashboard format so they can approve, revise, or send feedback to each of the teachers, as well as the teachers having access to a dashboard of their own, which allows them to actually share their plans directly in our system. When accessing our Transition Plan Reviewer on the Canvas page, you will select the button under the Administrator and Educator section, continue to a login that we create with you, and then you'll appear with a dashboard and upload section. The upload section is where you will drag and drop your IEP, and in just 2 minutes, you'll have a dashboard with the recent activity detailing the documents processed. You can select that document specifically, and it will detail the compliant and non-compliant sections, as well as giving you detailed feedback in the areas of rationale and evidence for each section, and ultimately providing recommendations for how to strengthen your transition plan, and ultimately next steps for the actual non-compliant sections. So the nice thing is that these are all editable and can be changed based on your perspective. So it's never going to be set in stone. Once you've changed it, you can save the changes and generate your transition compliance report. This compliance report will be an at-a-glance sheet that details all the sections that were compliant as well as non-compliant, and providing you that detailed feedback component with the rationale, evidence, and in the case of improvement possibilities or non-compliance, the recommendation section. Additionally, when you go back to your dashboard, you're able to actually share the process documents directly through our interface. So you can click share and email it to your administrator or reviewer to provide feedback, and then you will have shared feedback appear on your dashboard once that is completed.